Welcome to EDU World Space.
For this problem, we will let t be the time elapsed since the first collision. No external forces in the xy plane act on the system consisting of cars A, B, and C during their impacts with one another. The mass center of the system moves at the velocity it had before the collision. So if we set the origin at O, we can find the initial mass center R0 at the moment of the first collision. And we can find that mass center as follows. So the sum of the masses of each car, the mass of the system, ma plus mb plus mc, multiplied by the position of the mass center, x bar naught in the I direction plus y bar naught in the j direction, is equal to the sum of the products of the mass and the position of each car. So that's ma times the position of car A is 0 plus mb times 0 plus mc into the position of car C, which is xc I plus yc j. And so from here, we can see that the initial position of the mass centers in the x direction is 0.3 times xc. So this is 0.3 times 32 feet. And we get that the x component of the initial position of the mass center is 9.6 feet. And similarly, the initial y component of the position of the center of mass is 0.3 times yc. So all we've done here is equated like components on either side of the equation. And this is 0.3 multiplied by 10, which gives us 3 feet. So we have the initial position of our mass center. Next, we'll write down our given velocities for each car. So our given velocities, VA is equal to VA times unit vector I. So VA is to be calculated. The velocity of car B is equal to 45 miles an hour times unit vector I, and this is equal to, we have to convert this to feet per second, so that's 66 feet per second in direction I. And finally, the velocity of car C is given as 60 miles an hour. This is in the direction J. So car B moves in direction J. Car C moves at 60 miles per hour in the I direction, and this is 88 feet per second in the I direction. So we have the given velocities for each car in feet per second. The only unknown is the velocity for car A, which we wish to calculate. So the next thing to do is find the velocity of the mass center. So the velocity of the mass center, we know by the conservation of momentum that ma plus mb plus mc times the velocity of the mass center is equal to ma va. So the sum of the products of the momenta for each car, mb vb plus mc vc. And from here, we can see that the velocity of the mass center, v bar, is equal to 0.375 times VA plus 0.325 times VB plus 0.3 times the velocity of c, vc. Now, since the cars collided at the pole, we can find the coordinates for the position of the pole. So the position of the pole, RP, we'll call it, has, resolve this into components, has an x component, xp times I plus yp times j. So we'll break it into its two constituent components. And what this means is that this position vector xpi plus ypj is equal to the initial position of the mass center x naught I plus y bar naught j plus the velocity of the center of mass times time t, since there's no external forces acting on this system. So from here, we can resolve x and y components. So resolving x components, we get that the x component of the pole is equal to x bar naught plus 0.375 VA TP minus 0.3 times VC times TP. And resolving the y components, we get that the y component of the pole, yp, is equal to y bar naught, the initial position, the initial y coordinate of the position of the mass center, plus 0.325 times vb times tp. So now we can label these equations, equation 1 and equation 2. Now, using these two equations and now given data, we don't have TP, but we do have XP and YP. So we are given the X coordinate of the pole is 46 feet, and the Y coordinate of the pole, YP, is 59 feet. So for part A of the problem, we use equation 2 to solve for TP. So from equation 2, we have that 59 is equal to 3 plus 0.325 times 66 feet per second times TP. And so if we rearrange this equation, we can find TP, that's the time at which all three cars are at the final position, which is the position of the pole. And this value is 2.61 seconds. So that's our value for TP, the time after the collision occurs where all three cars are at the pole. And for part B, we can now use equation 1, since we have TP, and we can solve for VA. So in equation 1, we get 46 is equal to 9.6 plus 0.375 multiplied by VA, which we wish to solve for, times TP, which is 2.61, minus 0.3 times 88 feet per second times a time of 2.61. If we rearrange this equation, we can find VA, the unknown velocity of car A, to be 107.58 feet a second. And so bringing it to a common unit of measurement, we get that the velocity of A is 73.3 miles per hour.